7 years ago, I boarded an aeroplane and my life changed forever. I put one of those in-flight movies on, and it was about a guy called Frank who loses his job after 35 years in the boatyard. It was a fictional movie. And looking for some inspiration, he goes on to swim the English Channel. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. I thought, I could do that. I was at a moment in my life where things weren't going great. I wasn't particularly happy with my job. I'd just given up all the sports that I'd loved. I was unfit. But I thought, anything is worth a go. Went to the local pool, and no coach, no nutritionist, nothing, just swam for an hour. 5 months later, I managed to do 3 hours in the pool, 4 hours, and then eventually 5 hours. And I thought, God, I might actually be capable of doing something like this. So I thought, what do I have to do next? I know, I'll find a local lake. But it was February, probably not the smartest time to swim outside. So I turn up, there's frost on the ground. Wasn't a good start, but I thought, no, I'm a big, tough guy. I can handle a bit of frost. And I get to a kilometre, and then I lose feeling in my feet. I lose feeling in my fingers, my face. Everything goes numb. It was one of those moments where I thought, you know, is now the time to give this up because you basically nearly killed yourself. And in my mind, I thought, well, hang on. If you're going to put yourself through this, at least give it the respect it deserves. At least do it properly. So I waited till it was warmer. I waited another 3 or 4 months, and I went to Dover. And I did 7 or 8 6-hour swims, back to back. Anyway, the big day came, 5 in the morning. I get up, and I get ready to do the swim. We get on the boat, meet the pilot, and we make our way over to Shakespeare Beach, which is where you start from. So I slid into the water, and I start making my way to the start line. Now, there's something a bit wrong about that you have to swim to the start line in these channel swims. And then I could see my father's face, who had taught me for so many years to not give up. And I could see his face, don't you give up, son, don't you give up. Remember how hard you've worked. And I thought about my charity, Well and Dolphin Conservation, and all the time away from home and all the money and everything. And then I just didn't give myself a choice. When I got to that 11 hours, I remember the water getting thinner and just feeling like I was getting closer with every arm stroke. And I'd watched On a Clear Day, which is the movie that inspired me. And, you know, I kind of memorized everything that he did, and he got within 10 yards in the move, and he stands up, and he collapses backwards. And I stood up, and for no reason at all, collapsed backwards when I had 10 yards to walk out. And I just stood there, kind of like in disbelief of what happened, and I was thinking, you know, what has just happened there? And a French couple came, and they had this little dog, and they said, have you just swam from England? And I said, oh, I don't know, I think so. I get back onto the boat, I'm very ill, but I think I never ever have to do this sport ever again. That thought lasted for about 5 minutes, and I thought, well, maybe I'm pretty good at this, you know, maybe I should look for another swim. And I went to book the Gibraltar Strait swim when the odds were really against me, and when I phoned the chap up, he said, you want to do one way? And I said, no, I want to do 2 ways. Well, one way is less distant than English Channel, and no British person has ever swam there and back. And there's a reason, by the way, because the currents are extremely strong one way, and on the way back, they're even stronger. So I slide into the water. I'm an hour into the swim, and I can hear pilot whales calling to them, and it sounded like they were right next to me, and there's a huge pilot whale next to a boat. I touched the rock 3 hours, 25 minutes, breaking the British record. And then I'm back off to Spain again. It's not the best way of traveling, I have to tell you. The current is just pushing me, trying to push me out to the Atlantic. There's only 8 miles of coastline, and I'm getting pushed further and further away. And I'm in a panic state. And a lot of times in these swims, you go from elation, I'm going to do it, to, oh my God, I'm not going to do it, what does that mean? And that was one of those moments. And eventually, 9 hours, 39 minutes, I got across, and I was the first British person to swim both ways. So that was Gibraltar done. Surely I can put it to bed now. Well, maybe there's just one more in the tank. And I'd heard about this challenge called Ocean 7, and this came out, this was the equivalent of the 7 summits. And I looked at this list, and Molokai looked interesting because that was Hawaii. And I thought, well, I deserve a nice break after these 2 swims. You know, it's Hawaii. We arrive at 3 in the morning. It was the longest of all the swims. It was 26 miles, and this was a bad move. And I get to 4 hours, and I'm just just looking for some motivation. Within 5 minutes, bang, I'm hit with the most pain that I've ever had in my life, and it was a burning sensation, and I started to yell. And it was a Portuguese man of war, it turned out to be. I pulled those 2 tentacles off. You see the ones at the front there? So I pulled those off, and I lost feeling in my spine. And it started to go numb, and I thought, Christ, I'm going paralyzed here. 3.5 solid hours later of agony, I got faced with some rocks in front of me, and I'm just in disbelief what happened. And on the plane back, with all the scarring, etc., and still the pain, I thought, maybe I've got one more swim left in me this year. So 3 months later, I'm back on the plane, going to Catalina. Just after this moment, when I do a little wave, then my shoulder packs in. And I have to swim. You can see my left shot here. It's really just kind of falling forwards. So the shoulder is gone. I'm swimming one arm here for the next 5 hours. And I did it in 12 hours, 15 minutes in agony. I preferred to swim with one arm than be stung by a Portuguese man of war. So it's all about perspective. I booked the next swim. The good thing about Japan is it's only 15 miles. It's the smallest one of all the swims. However, it does have the worst tides in the world. So as you can see, conditions are really kind to me. I'm underneath there somewhere, buried, making slow headway. This is actually 11 hours into the swim. I had this non-stop, and I was also under the pressure of swimming faster than the current. And so at this point, I don't mind telling you, tears were rolling down my face in the fact that I thought this has been taken away from me now. And I started to believe that I was going to make it. I could see land. It pushed me back to 3 miles. I got back to 2 miles. It pushed me back to 3 miles, and we were playing this little game with the current. The last stretch, as you can see, that light in the distance was like God to me, and that with 700 yards to go, he went no current for the first time in 15.5 hours. 2014. I don't let this hold me back. I look for the next swim, and it's Cook Strait. I make 4.8 kilometers in the first hour. Everything is going smoothly, couldn't be better. There was a bit of laughter, and then I realized I was still alive, and it was a pod of dolphins. And there happened to be around about 12 to 14 dolphins. And it was an incredible experience, and they wedged me in like a diamond shape, and there's a shark hovering below, deep below. And I realized, well, the dolphins are here. They've come to protect me. That's how I felt. So as you can see, absolute amazing experience. And they stayed with me an hour and a half. The shark disappeared after half an hour. Well, so I thought it did. But what an incredible experience. As I say, they were circling me. They were touching me, just very, very close. They wanted to be around me. And it really spurred me on for the last few hours to finish that. And I finished it in 8 hours, 39 minutes. And that was 6 done. On to the last swim, notoriously known for the hardest swim in the world, Ireland to Scotland, got into the water, and very, very cold, as expected. Within the first hour, I was barricaded, ambushed even, with lion's mane jellyfish. And what I had to do within the swim was gamble left and right, and it was almost like a computer game. I finished that swim, incredible experience. You could see me getting out here, 7 years of my life completed, nice hug at the end. And I got a big shiver down my spine right at the end, and it had changed my life forever, from selling kettles and toasters to this ocean swimmer, first British person. But the point is, what have I learned from all this? You know, you've heard a story about a swimmer, you know, great, you know, swimming 7 oceans. But I really don't feel that I was a born ocean swimmer or open water swimmer at all. I don't feel that. I don't feel that was in my blood. I think it was just that I got to a point in my life where I really wanted to step over that line. And every day looks different to me now. So, you know, what I want to leave you with is a big statement, which is never give up on your dreams. Thank you very much.